Ease of information, or how readily available information is right now, has actually made it incredibly difficult to sell inventory just based on revenue. So like we've got clients in, for example, Houston. Houston has a broad network of flood zones in different flood risk areas throughout the city. And we'll have people who come in, they've got a phenomenal duplex. This is a real example. Leased out for $2,500 per door, $5,000 in gross rents coming in. It's in a flood zone, it had previous flood history, and it will not move. Information is so readily available that before I even go ahead and push this and I can disclose that it's been in a flood zone, I'm getting pinged with people saying, hey, this thing had a lot of flood damage. Is there any kind of mold history? What are risks for future flooding events looking like for this particular asset? And we see that with things like previous inspections. Are there any previous inspections on file? Are there any things like, has this property been under contract in the past? Why did it fail? Why did it go out of contract? Now, instead of agents having to bring that information to the buyer, the buyers have all of this information so readily available at their fingertips, especially with the advent of AI. You could drop a property address into Grok or ChatGPT and just ask for the history. Have there been any sorts of insurance claims? Have there been any sorts of lawsuits associated with this particular address? And now everything is digital and it'll all pop up. So any kind of black eye on your property, anything that can be a sore spot or a point of contention for a buyer, it's no longer enough just to have really high revenue. Buyers don't want to take on that kind of risk. So they're really getting more sophisticated and dialed in terms of the amount of risk that they'll go ahead and take on as an investor.